Hey guys, in this video I want to show you my 2-minute scalping strategy that I use very religiously. This is the only setup I trade this, the only strategy I trade, and the reason I only trade this strategy is because it works so well, it's so consistent, it gives me anywhere from a 70 to an 80% win rate, depending on the month. I trade this strategy every day around 9 to 10 a.m. It's so simple to follow, so that being said, I want to go to examples of trades. It took following the strategy, breaking everything down from you step by steps. So like I said guys, I've tried so many strategies in my years of trading, whether it's reversal, setup, supply and demand zones, momentum trading, right? Every kind of trading you can't think of, and it wasn't until I found this strategy with very specific set of rules confirmations I use. And there's a reason I only use this strategy, right? Because it's so consistent, it works so well. So how I trade, I use volume, I use price action, I use levels, and I use the trend right solo. I actually break this down in the most simple way you'll ever hear it explained. Alright, so step number 1 is I always want to establish with the trend to define myself as a trend pullback traders. I'm always trading with the trend. I'm waiting for pullbacks to get in. I want to get in on that pullback and continue riding with the trend. So a good analogy I can give you is think of a surfer. If a surfer's think about going surfing, he's not going to go when the waves are super choppy. He's not going to go when you're not able to ride the waves. So if you see waves like this where they crash and you can ride them, they're slowly crashing to the other side. The surfer can see a clear trend in the waves, right? The waves look good. It looks like good conditions to go out surfing. Well, I think of the market the same way, right? I want to see clear trends of whatever I'm trading. The market's the ocean and the trend is the wave. So if we go over to that oil trade that it rated, right, the first thing I do is I like to start on the bigger time frames, right? So for example, I'll go to a 4-hour or 1-hour time frame. Keep in mind, I douse high Ashican so they will look a little bit different. But anyways, as we can see before the market opened this morning, I saw that we're at a clear support level in oil rights. Keep in mind, levels is something I use in my trading as well. Basically tells me where the market could reverse or slow down. In this case, we're at a clear demand zone last time. Wegot in this area we had very aggressive buying and made new high so's. I pulled up everything. It raid, I'll trade anything from the Nasdaq gold oil, right? Mainly just the futures market. Is a one oil that we're at this clear support level, and before the market opened, you notice that we got our first green hashi candle on the 4-hour time frame. Now typically when we change colors on the Hinachi candles, especially on a 4-hour time frame, we end up continuing that trend. Case out change the red, we end up continuing getting red candles, we change the green, we end up continuing getting green candles right now. Obviously there's exception to this, and that's why we have all our other converso anyway. Sans ice is we're in a clear support level, and we got our first green high kashi candle on the 4-hour time frame before the market even opened. I knew I wanted to focus on going long on oil today soon as I established whether I want to go long or short based on the trend, based on the market structure. Now I can go over to step number 2, and I want to look for entry confirmation since West start getting that pullback. Same thing with the surfer once. He's in the ocean and he knows the waves are good. He knows he doesn't have to take every wave right. There's multiple waves that come in every minute. When you're paddling on the wave, you can see, okay, is the wave all about to crash at once? Is it slowly going to break where I can ride it? Make some more money out of it. Again, we want to do the same thing. As traders, we want to make sure that the pullback we jetting on is going to actually goop, and it's not going to just chop around. All right, now, basically the first thing I'm looking for is for us to pull back and then see elevated volume on that reversal after the pullback. Okay, so basically the market opened here, a wet pulled back, but we didn't see any volume, so I didn't want to chase this at all. We also closed towards resistance, we pulled back again, we got a little bit of volume here, but this wasn't enough for me, right? I really want to see elevated volume. The bigger the volume, typically the higher probability the trade is to work out. So anyways, we saw this rise up, it failed again. We saw another pullback again. On this pullback, we didn't see much volume here either. So we ended up rising up and we actually got some decent volumes. So I knew that this rise up would probably last. And this is my favorite kind of setup to see, is I like to see a pullback to old resistance or old support. Okay, so in this case, the trend is up, so we want to see old resistance turn to new supports. So what happened here is we went up, right, and we pulled back straight to this old resistance. Like I said, this is my favorite type of setup, especially because when we got over here, right, we had really good volume. So I knew that this level would probably hold, and as you can see, we started pulling back, right? We got elevated volume, because when we had volume here, and you can see that was on this candle right here. This is also our reversal candles. So I knew once I saw that I wanted to start looking for confirmations to get in long okays. So as all the pullback is all the volume, and really there's only 2 more confirmations right now. You need to see the 2-minute MACD across and a 2-minute high cash canvas. So if I zoom in here, we can see we got the MACD across right here, and we also got some green high ash canvas. And I went ahead and entered my position right here. I actually got a pretty bad entry. I entered up at 73 in here, but I was pretty confident in this trade based on the volume, based on the level we pulled back to. And then from there, I simply set a target to new highs plus also a whole cycle level, which was 73.12. Then from there, I had my stop loss below the volume, because I think of volume as the defense for my positions. So that's how I use volume. That's why I need to have volume, because I think of it as defense if we sell off again, right? I'm betting this high volume that mainly came from buyers. They would end up defending that position. They would end up defending any sells we had, any pullbacks we had, right? So that's why I have to keep my stop palatable. Lows, know when to get and how do. Know when to get out. Okay, so managing the trade is simply riding the wave as long as you can before it comes crashing down, because you never know when huge sellers are going to step in, right? Market can reverse at any time, and the worst thing that can happen is just to get smashed by the wave. You get back all your gains and you end up taking a loss. So I do a few different things for that. Since the trend waits in my forum, I typically like to hold at new highs based on this previous resistance. That was my main target. First off, I want to get above these highs, and once we get above these highs, I want to see where are we likely to go. So I mainly trade off like a 1.5 tuna risk reward. Since I have a high win rate, I'm able to do that. So it's not like I'm trying to hold my trades a crazy amount. So I usually like to just set it to the whole cycle level above the highs. So in this case, it was 73. That's where I got out of this trade, and up here where I didn't have much resistance. Besides this area, which was at 73.35. So I knew getting out at 74 would be a pretty conservative target, and it would make sure that I would get a good risk reward. I would lock in my profits and the wave wouldn't come crashing on me. Now another thing I like to do, since I do hash canned leases, I limit my risk as we move up. Okay, so I kind of trail my stop boom in a strategic way. I don't just do it based on, I'm going to put my stop at break even, right? And I like to do it based off the candles with high volume. So for example, when we're rising up here, we saw pretty good volume on this candle AZ, you can see. What I would do in this case is I would move my stop from the lows all the way to, just below this candle. For example, so I had it at around 7256 or so, just below this candle was my new stop. Okay, the non-sweat broke the high shear on this candle. This is actually where I got to out. But if I was still holding this trade, it would make sense for me to now put my stop below this candle, right? We had good volume on this candle. We can put it right at 7273, and now our stop highs and profits, right? We have a guaranteed green trades. So that's another way I like to manage my position, just to limit my risk in case a huge seller randomly steps in. I've been burned by that before. That's another way I like to manage my trade. That's my 2-minute scalping strategy I use. Again, the main thing you see these videos talking about, the 2-minute time frame. Yes, I use the 2-minute time frame for my confirmations to get into the trade. But what I really want you to take away from this video is, if you're trading with the trend right, zoom out, look at the bigger time frames, because as you saw, that's automatically going to give you a higher probability to trade with the bigger time frame. Trends typically, how we trade overnight. If we're consistently going up, we have good market structure, we're going to keep going up on that day. Okay, so anyways guys, that is my simple 2-minute scalping strategy. Real quick before you guys go, if you guys want to take advantage of my free trading courses and trainings, which will take you to a higher level of financial management and teach you how to navigate the market to get the most out of it. If you like the content and want more of it, leave a thumbs up, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next episode with another day trading lesson.